Happy New Year. It's been a little hot minute, but we are back. Um, Bronchitis free finally. And joining me is Del Roehling
Hello.
and Suzanne Mattaboni.
Okay. Nice to be back.
And I better mute my phone. There we go. And this month we are covering the awesome memoir, Future Boy by Michael J. Fox. And it was really a brand new one. And thanks to Dell for suggesting this one. It was actually released October 14th, 2025, in publishing. And if you listen to the audiobook, which I didn't, but Suzanne did, it was actually narrated by Michael J. Fox. And it covers his time when it was a crazy time when he was filming Back to the Future and Family Ties at the same time, both incredible projects. We'll get into that. Should also note that it's pretty cool that they published it in 2025 because it was the 40th anniversary. Oh my God, 40th
Wow.
anniversary Back to the Future.
That math cannot be right. Something, yeah,
Wait,
something's
that
wrong
was
there.
20 years, right?
Yeah, right.
Eldon, he released Back to the Future in the theater for a short time, and I got to see that. Did you get to do that, Del? Did you say you were doing that? No.
I planned to, and I don't know, something came up. We didn't make it, but yeah, I was hoping they extended another week, and we just missed it. But yeah, it would have been really cool. There's an old theater, I mentioned it before, an old theater that's about in a small town about 20 minutes away from us, and they showed it several years ago. They actually did one, two, and three.
Oh,
And so not all back to back, but it was,
mhm.
during the year they showed all three. Yeah, so I have seen it on the big screen. I don't remember if I saw it back in '85 or not, but in the theater. But yeah, but I missed it this time around. I don't think you went, Suzanne. You didn't make it into the theater, did you? In the
I
re-release.
I looked I looked into it. I did not make it. I did not make it there. I did watch it all three on online though. Streaming. I watched all three of them, which I don't think ever watched them back to back. I saw the first two in the theater. I did see the third one once when back in the day, not in the theater. I think I saw it a couple of years later, but I hadn't seen that one. I'd seen the least amount of times. Oh,
Uh,
so
mhm.
that one was really a refresher.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if I saw the beginning. I think I came in somewhere in the middle and saw parts of it. When
Mhm.
like you walking in and out of a film for some
Mhm.
reason, it's playing in the
Right.
background or what have you. So I
Yeah.
only saw pieces of that one. So that's much more new to me.
It's funny that, yeah, we would catch movies here and there, just walking around the house. These days, we miss half of it from being on our phones at the same time,
Yeah, that's
multitasking.
true. I do that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, but
The
yeah,
slow part of the movie, you start scrolling or looking things up about the actors who are on the screen,
yeah,
and then you're like,
exactly,
what happened?
exactly. That
I
that one
missed
looks
something.
familiar, but yeah, I did see Back to the Future in the theater. That was exciting. And then yeah, I saw all three of them in the theater. Then I was in the Navy and living in California when Back to the Future 2 came out. And then the same thing, Back to the Future 3 came out a few months later, right? Didn't it come out like,
Yeah, it was. I think two was '89, three was '90.
yeah,
So it took them 4 years to get the sequel, but then they did back to back.
yeah, they filmed them all together, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I
And I
remember that. That
remember
was
that,
kind of innovative at the time that they
right?
did
Yeah,
those
yeah.
together. Number
Hmm.
one, it was hard to get Michael J. Fox because he was so popular by that time.
Yeah.
And number two, he was like almost 30 years old by the time they
Right.
started doing the sequels, and he's supposed to be a teenager, so they didn't really want to push it too far.
Right, yeah. Well, he did play multiple characters in the second.
That's true.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. And and let me see the and I really enjoyed this book because I love hearing the behind the scenes stuff, and it's just so interesting. And he's just a talent, and I just like appreciate it even more. I think it was right at the beginning before I got into his background. He does a little bit of his background where he came from, his family and everything, and they came to visit California, and he became infatuated with acting and everything. But when it started off, I couldn't believe it. But when he got on the set, uh, he met Leah Thompson for the first time like 10 minutes before they started filming. And the very first scene was the scene in the bedroom when he was knocked out, and then he wakes up and she's there and his pants aren't on. And so that was the first scene that they filmed. So he meets her of all scenes, and that's the one that hello.
Yeah, that's true. But to add to all the tension that she had been in other movies with Eric Stoltz, who
Hmm.
had just kind of gotten thrown off the film,
Yeah, yeah.
and he kind of regarded him as just like a sitcom actor. Big
Hmm.
80s movie stars at the time. Both her and Eric Stoltz has, had a pretty good careers going. So I guess that was a lot of pressure for him to be under. But it was interesting to hear how quickly he was able to win everybody over,
Yeah.
including her, when she had kind of a little bit of a chip on her shoulder by her own admission.
Yeah, I think he earned the respect just from that opening scene when he did that pratfall putting his pants on, and that wasn't in the script or anything. He just did it, and I think the crew was laughing, but he did it right on the floor. They didn't have any padding for anything for him to land on, so they did it again. But I think they put stuff for him to land on.
And
So
he's
that was
devoted.
his intro, and that just shows his comedic genius.
Yeah, yeah.
He was
And that
still
he's willing to
young,
go for it. He's not a diva. He just did what was
right?
good for the scene.
Right, yeah, and that's also a really good point you brought up too, Suzanne. How like TV actors got looked down upon by movies. You wouldn't see a movie star on a TV show, and
That's
boy, that's
true.
turned around.
Yeah, it's all kind of it's melted together a lot more. That the lines were more clearly drawn, I think, at the time that if you were a TV star, okay, that you didn't quite have to be as talented as a movie star, and they made a lot more money. But I mean, he crossed over pretty big with this film,
Yeah, yeah, it
and
was
it
the number
sounded
one
in a way
movie.
like he kind of saved it, like it was turning into this dark, serious thing that producers didn't really intend on to begin with. So,
He crossed over from TV to movies, and then he crossed back over to TV
Right.
later as well. So
You know,
I think maybe, I mean, I don't have anything to base this on, but it seems like maybe he was one of the ones first actors to kind of break that stereotype or whatever with, you were either TV or you were movies.
hmm
So he was both.
yeah,
right.
yep. I think he broke that barrier, and then a few years later, and then Bruce Willis, Die
Yeah,
Hard, because he was on
That's
Moonlighting.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
Because
but he stayed with movies.
right
He
after
never,
that,
he never
yeah,
went, yeah, he never went
yeah,
back to TV.
yeah. But even that, like back then, it was just them that I could think of off the top of my head that were,
Yeah.
crossed over.
Well, and I was reading something about, I don't know if it was the Moonlighting book that came out, but they were talking about how nobody really took Bruce Willis seriously. They didn't think he would do well in Die Hard because of the
Mhm.
TV background. So it's just so strange how things have turned around now.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
it's,
Harrison Ford is doing television now. Like, who
right.
would have ever thought that, 40 years ago?
but I kind of remember that firsthand, like seeing a clip of Bruce Willis in Die Hard when he was, kind of promoting it on, I don't know, late night with David Letterman or Carson or whoever was on that program at the time, and thinking to myself, he's such a goofball in Moonlight, and I really think that he's going to be able to pull this off. And even the scene that they showed, I was like, he's just such a joker. What are you thinking?
You know,
Well, I could be wrong
Okay,
about
it's
this,
a
but
movie, yeah.
I could be wrong about this, but I think initially, like the marketing posters did not include his picture.
Took
I
his
I don't
think
I
you're
don't
picture.
know if
right.
I'm making that up or not, but it seems like that's something I remembered reading. So, but
I
yeah,
think you're right because I forgot the name of the show. There was something on Netflix where I forgot what the
Yeah.
series was, but they covered a movie in each episode, and they did
the
one with
movies
Die
that
Hard.
movies that made us.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think
Yes,
I
that's
watched
it.
okay,
Yeah,
that movie
yeah.
that made us. Yeah.
So I think they said that in
that's
that.
where okay, that's probably where
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah. So I think
It's a
you're
great
right.
series, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it
movies
is.
that made us,
I
the
love that
toys that
series.
made us. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, incredible, and yeah, and Back to the Future turned out to be the number one movie of the year. I think it made like 400 million or something like that, or right close to it. And I was looking, I think the budget was only 19 million, but yeah, we kind of said, of course, most of the people from our generation know that Eric Stoltz was originally the Marty McFly, but a lot of younger people might not know that. I didn't realize it, but I think they mentioned in this book that they originally had Michael J. Fox in mind for it, but then he couldn't do it because he was doing Family Ties, and they didn't think he'd be able to get the time. His agent wouldn't. Did he? I forgot if he even knew about it to begin with. Do you remember? I don't think I think the agent might not have said something to him or something.
Yeah, I don't know that they stressed whether he knew it. He knew they wanted him originally, but they let him know after, when they went back to him that they had their eye on him from the outset. And
Yeah,
I think I mean, well, first of all, Back to the Future, as far as I'm concerned, it's like one of the best movies ever. It's one of those few perfect movies as far as I'm concerned. And
That holds up too.
movie, yeah, 80 movie
it
person.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it holds up also. And there's, of course, there's a million like theorists online who say things like, well, he changed his life and now it's going to be different and his memories will be different. And they go down all these psychological roads where I'm like, the hell, that's an amazing movie. So that in itself, of course, makes it interesting to hear about the story. But you hear behind the scenes, in series like the Movies That Made Us and other interviews that he's done, that there was a very unique timeline that he was trying to juggle when he was doing both the series and the movie, that made it difficult for the entire production team because they had to work around his schedule where he's doing something else during the day and he could only do shoots with them at night. But it meant that he never slept.
Right.
Which I guess maybe you can get away with when you're 22. We used to like go out till 2 o'clock in the morning and then, get up a few hours later, maybe go to work or what have you. So I guess it's not that much different. But to do that every day and have a whole production company work around that for you,
Banking on
that's
you.
pretty exceptional. So
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, it was a perfect storm too because then he could do it. Then Meredith Baxter Burney ended up getting pregnant because normally that he'd be able to take a little bit of the load off while he was doing the movie, but nope, she ended up
yeah,
being gone because she's having a baby. So then he ended up having to carry more of the loads on top of everything else. So yeah, he was incredible in that. I think it was a few years ago I started watching the series again, and then it ended up disappearing from whatever platform it was on. I got to the season when Courtney Cox came on, so I got that far into it. Yeah, Family Ties is on Paramount now, but it's only the first three seasons. So,
okay. I
yeah,
watched a couple of episodes recently and then just, switched to something else. I don't know.
mhm.
I'm big on different retro series, but
Yeah,
I don't know. It seemed I didn't in the 80s I watched more movies and listen to music and went out clubbing. I didn't watch too much TV. We didn't have a TV in the dorms and stuff. So
oh, okay,
maybe later in the 80s, like, I watched 30 something and Knots Landing, later in the 80s.
right.
Uh it was I think he was a surprise. It's nice to hear him talk about his background and where he came from and
Hmm.
how people reacted to him because he stresses that only a few years before he was broke. He was just
Mm.
he was kind of one of those starving actor types. And I think nobody really expected this little guy who was so much younger than his age and wasn't really like, your tall, brawny, good movie star. I mean, he's cute. He definitely has that, kind of boyish charm, but he's not like the leading, like Patrick Swayze leading man type of swoon type of actor. But
Right.
yet he's been amazingly successful and everybody loves him. And this is like turned into one of the biggest franchises, of the decade, pretty much
Hmm.
because of him. So, I think he even surprised himself. As far as listening to his narration,
Hmm.
he still sounds pretty much like, I can't believe any of this happened to me. Here I am, but I can't believe any of it happened to me. But it worked. I went with it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, especially being older now and looking back, you say, "How the hell did I do that?" When you're young and into it, yeah, you don't think anything of it. I mean, you're living, surviving. But then once you're past that and you look back, it's like, I get it. He had to totally be on because they invested all they had already recorded a bunch, and then they had to start over. So probably between budget and timeline and everything, and he had to be on. At the same time, he's on this high profile TV show that was a top 10 show at the time. I loved that show. By the way, that
Well,
and
it,
It was fun.
and his I think he mentions it in the book too, but the different personalities of
mm,
Marty
that's
McFly
true.
and Alex P. Keaton, and how he had to. I mean, I think he went through the differences between the two, but there were several, and to be able to just flip and play a different character that evening, and then go back and just do that every single day is pretty amazing. On no sleep, I think there were a few times he was like, "It's 3 a.m. I'm going to try to catch a couple hours," and then he would start it all over the next day.
Yeah, and then have to and they develop a script for Family Ties as the week went on because they'd make changes and he'd have to,
Yeah, I kept trying to think as I'm like, when did he even have time to prep for the like
mm,
because it's not just you just show up and you deliver your lines, like you've got to memorize these things.
yeah,
So I don't know when he even had time to do that.
yeah. I just happened to catch a line tonight when I was going through my notes that he said that he didn't memorize the lines, he absorbed them or something like that, whatever that means. But that's that's
Maybe
what he
that's the
says that he
equivalent of
did.
like cramming for an exam, dude. So
I think it just means he's very talented and he was
He
able to
is.
go on instinct for a lot of this stuff, you know?
He was meant to do this. He's just such a natural talent. I know he was a big breakout on Family Ties, but when I was rewatching that, everybody else was also really good in that. They were incredible. Michael Groves. It wasn't like a tacky, cheesy show. Like they were. There was really good acting in it. It might have been. I don't know if it was maybe a year or two after this. There was an episode when a friend of his got killed in a car accident, and he was supposed to be with him. And so then he was having this was a survivor's guilt, and it was I think it was a two-part episode. It was one of those very special episodes, and
Very
he was
special.
monologuing. Oh my God, he put on an acting clinic. It was unbelievable, and I totally forgot about that when I was rewatching it. It's like, wow, I was getting all welled up and everything. It was incredible.
Oh,
But see, he's just such a talent, and the way he just hopped right into Back to the Future. I can see when you see him with the yellow suit on, you know how uncomfortable that was. His little radioactive suit and stuff. He didn't like that.
yeah.
well,
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
interesting.
like the DeLorean either.
Oh
He
yeah,
didn't, and the
yeah.
crew didn't, which I was a little surprised by because it was such a cool car, in the movie, but they all hated it.
um,
Yeah, well, I guess you get tired of being cramped into a prop like that,
right.
really.
They started to bring the car back about 2 or 3 years ago, and then I never heard another thing about it. But there was talk. I talked about it on the show, on the radio show, that they were bringing the DeLorean back. Guess it didn't work a second
Yeah,
time.
guess not. I didn't see it. I remember hearing something about that too, but never really seeing them anywhere. I don't know. Tesla took over and people
Yeah, yeah, that's
people
what
kind of
happened.
switched their attention over to that automaker.
Did did they bring it back or did they time travel it back?
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
That
did it
that
come
I'll have
back
to, yeah,
from the
I'll have
future
to.
screeching on, at 80 miles an hour?
I mean, anything is possible these days, so you never know.
Yeah, if you see one flying around, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't need roads.
It seemed he got along with Christopher Lloyd, but I just got the impression they didn't seem as close as I was expecting.
Who?
Maybe it was just me, but I don't know.
Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd, yeah. It sounded well, just like anything else. I mean, it seemed to happen, the whole movie with everyone that he worked with,
Yeah.
but they were just kind of thrown, I mean, literally thrown together. I mean, it's enough when, like, I used to do theater, and it's hard enough when you've only known somebody like 2 weeks to, play these scenes where you've known each other forever, or you're in love, or, this kind of thing. But
Yeah.
to just out of nowhere, no rehearsal, not even ever meeting the person, to suddenly have to jump into the character and be, have this relationship on screen, that's difficult. That's, you really have to hand it to them to be that professional, to just jump right in.
Yeah.
Not just Michael, because he's one guy and he's the one who's gaining from this. The rest of them, had a reason to be resentful, that they all have to do all this extra work and work around his schedule. But they were all very professional. They were all really willing to, and he seems very grateful. He really handled everyone. So graciousness probably helps in this kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Have a certain amount of grace.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, he was still relatively at this point too. Yeah. They ended up casting Jennifer because I have was Laura Hardin was the original Jennifer, but she was too tall for him because she was with Eric Stoltz. Michael J. Fox wasn't too happy about that.
Poor thing.
Yeah, I think they said, "Oh, a tall girl like that wouldn't be interested in you." A short person, a shorter person.
Nobody would buy it. Oh well. But poor Melora Harding was on The Office, right? She was Jan, the manager, eventually.
Oh, I'm not sure. Was she? Oh, I
And I
didn't
think
know
that's the
that
actress
that
we're
was her
talking
name.
about.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Jan. Yeah. Oh, well, things turned out well for her.
Yeah, not quite Back to the Future, but at least she made it.
Yeah, yeah. So, of course, Claudia Wells took over, and then Elizabeth
Yeah,
Shue
nobody
took
knows who
over at the
Claudia
other one.
Wells is. I don't know what she's doing. She might have just been a model, gone back to modeling or something, from what I heard. What do you know?
She was at the Radical Sabbatical. You remember
Mhm.
that, Paul?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I should have brought the book over. We got Back to the Future cookbook with from the
Back
Radical Sabbatical.
book.
So Claudia Wells did a cooking demonstration with one of the recipes for that.
Well, like, what are
But
the recipes in there? I gotta hear this.
all right, I get it. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Well, let's see. Can we try to guess what's in the Back to the Future cookbook?
Oh, I have the cookbook here, and I looked at it when I first got it. I haven't done anything with it
It's funny.
since, but
It's
one
funny.
day,
So just celebrity cookbooks, I think, will never not sell.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a pretty cool event, that Radical Sabbatical, and they had basically did a virtual cooking demonstration live as just one of the segments. So, and then Sebastian Bach did like some kind of mixed drink thing that from Skid Row, and
Okay.
so yeah, it was a neat event. It was
It
an
was
all
an
day.
80s themed
Yep.
event?
Yeah, yeah. So during COVID, that's the
Cool.
Claire and Caroline, who we've talked about before. They'll go on the 80s cruise, and we've had them on the
Yeah.
podcast before. They're the ones that planned this event, and so they had several 80s artists and then some celebrities that would come in, and so they had performances and whatever. I mean, Paul sat in on it all day. I did too. The Radical Sabbatical.
Which
I'm
I
just kind of
knew.
bringing Suzanne up to speed.
Do they do
So
it every year now, or that was just a COVID thing?
yeah, just COVID, and I think they talked about maybe trying to do it live again,
Yeah,
like do
yeah.
do it again, but this time live, and I haven't heard anything about it, since. But
Oh, yeah, we should hit them
yeah,
up
it was
about the
it was
cruise. Yeah.
yeah, it was a really cool event, and that's kind of how we got connected to the two of them because they came on to promote it, and everything just clicked. So we had them on several times after that.
Cool.
Did you find the cookbook? Ah, there it is. Yeah, it's kind
Damn
of
it.
yeah, with your background there, it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
kind of
going in
hard
and
to
out, but
blinking in and out.
Wait, can I? Oh, here we go.
yep. Well, sort of. There's a big hole in it. There we go.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
see what that is, like pizza or
Hill,
oatmeal.
It's the Hill
Hill
Valley
Valley
cookbook.
Cookbook.
Yeah, I think it's like an apple
I'm
pie
very
or
curious.
something. All right,
Okay.
so I'll skim through. There's a cafe 80s burrito, the sleep inducer. It's a cocktail. Let's see, spicy rehydrated ramen.
There's got to be
Corn on
something
You
Biff.
sound like the from the sequel,
from
you know,
Biff.
the cafe was the sequel, the first
Uh,
sequel.
yeah, so I think she did some kind of what do you call it? The word left my brain with all the nuts and everything on trail mix. She made like a trail mix or something. Uh,
Okay, okay.
the
Better memory
milkshake.
than I have. It's 5 years ago.
Yeah. Was it Biff's corned beef hash skillet. Ooh, let me mark the list.
So if the three of us ever get together in person, this is what we're doing. We're all going to cook one of these dishes
Yeah, there
and
we
bring
go.
it to our get together. So
That sounds good.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Another hilarious part I wanted to bring up. I want to like do you remember the scene with the stuntman, uh, Charlie Rothwell?
But yeah, I remember that.
Love.
That's toward the end of the book, I think.
Remind me.
He's the stuntman. So he says, I vividly remember the moment as Charlie describes it. Only my second week on the movie, I'm eager to talk to Max about some live stunts I would be handling, and which would be assigned to a stunt double. I saw Charlie standing next to Max, and since we're about the same age and same height, I said to Max, "Is he going to be my stunt double?" And Charlie continues, I hadn't yet spoken a word to Max, so I was shocked when he looked at you and then looked at me and said, "He's your double." And then I patted Charlie on the back and wandered off. Max Clevin immediately turned to Charlie and whispered, "You do stunts, right?" I said,
Everybody.
Michael's stunt double, and yeah, and they seem to have a friendship to this day and everything. They really hit it off and everything. But it's just so funny. He was looking for a job as a stuntman. He didn't even say a word yet. He just walked on the set too. That was yeah. He just walked on the set, just and then he just got lucky. He had been be literally at the right place at the right time. So
Oh yeah,
I
just like
love
walked
that.
up. Now I remember. He just like walked on set with his resume, and they were
Right?
like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you have a
yeah.
job? Okay, go stand over there."
A lot of timing. You know?
Sure, that's a good way to get a job.
Uh, and then
He was
another
pretty
cool.
resilient too.
Yeah, yeah. That's
We'll talk about
incredible.
something like they kept like slamming him into the wall or the barn door or something, and just kept getting up and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. Oh, it's great." And then by the end of the day, they went out for drinks or something, and then he like good poor guy could barely move. Or
Right.
I
Yeah.
guess you know if you're a good stunt man, if you know just take it off of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Michael actually he skateboarded and stuff himself, I think. So,
Yeah, that's kind of cool, huh?
yeah.
Didn't you talk about Tony Hawk at one point too?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
Yeah, did
I
some
think.
training with him.
I don't know about that, or Tony Hawk just became a fan and was
Mhm.
impressed with his skateboarding skills. Yeah, I don't
Michael's,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember the details.
yeah. Yeah, of course we started reading this, I think in October, I should
Yeah.
mention, and then and then we had to keep
Yeah, we haven't been
rescheduling. It
together.
was in October when I saw the movie and we were reading this for October, I think.
Took a little
It's in the
break.
future. Another cool part that I like too was with the shoes, because when he was new to the movie, they redid the wardrobe and everything, so they got everything already, but then they forgot to get his shoes, and then he decided to use his own shoes. He's wearing the Nike Bruins, I guess. So that so that's what so in case the shoes got dirty, then it would mess up with the whatever it is the movie. So they needed like 15 pairs, and then so they called Nike, and they didn't make those sneakers anymore.
Yeah, so they had to remake them themselves. Like the wardrobe department just made up
Well,
duplicate
I think somebody called
duplicate of the.
Nike. Yeah, somebody called Nike up the I don't know if it was Zemeckis. I don't know if it was Zemeckis or even Spielberg called Nike and got their
Oh yeah,
person on the
maybe
phone.
Nike made them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they said, "Oh, we can't give you any money, but can you do this?" Oh, yeah. And then they asked for 20. I think they needed 15, but they asked for 20, and then said, "Oh, no problem." So then they ended up
Jeez.
making the shoes. But it's pretty cool. It was like his own shoes that that he normally wore. That was what he wore.
Mhm.
So that restarted relationship with him and Nike. So.
Yeah, has anybody seen some of the footage with Eric Stoltz in it that they had?
Oh
Uh,
no, I
he
didn't
did
get
have
to
a
look at
like a
that.
whole different wardrobe as Marty. He wasn't in the, you know, the very iconic jacket
Best.
vest, the red jacket vest. He just looked a lot more, I don't know, like a fashion plate kind of.
I've seen the diner scene. Are there more scenes than that,
I've
or?
seen a scene, one of the scenes when he first walks out into the street and starts looking around like everything's amazing him.
Mm,
Um, except you can tell what they're talking about with Eric Stoltz taking a completely different read on it, like a whole different vibe. It's like suddenly he's in some kind of apocalyptic world almost, and not as kind of bright and fun and wondrous. It's more like frightening. It's got like
mhm,
this dark, very kind of ominous feel to it. And he's mostly in black. He's in kind of the sleek black Nero jacket and dark jeans and stuff. So you could tell the direction it was going in. And it's almost, you have to be glad that it went the way that it did because it, turned into such a spectacular movie. But um, definitely contrast. It's interesting. And the wardrobe, they completely redid the wardrobe because it just did not fit the feel that they were going. But even the clothes were more
right.
like so.
Mm.
You just have to wonder if Eric Stoltz had stayed in the role, if they had not changed. Would the movie have had two sequels? Would we still be talking about it today? What would
Right. Or
happen
would
to
it have
Michael
been
J.
like a
Fox's
minor 80s
career?
film? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to wonder that too.
I mean, I'm sure Michael J. Fox would have found something else to break out with, but still, this was the movie that made him a household name.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did it seem like it was more sci-fi than than comedy? Or
Uh
could you not get that vibe
yeah,
just from that?
more. Well, you sort of can, and from the things that we've seen and read, as we've mentioned, um, it seemed more like they were focusing on the impact of changing the timeline
Mhm.
more than kind of the wonder of being able to step back into the past and meet your parents and be part of, impact their relationship. It
Mhm.
seems like it's a much more relationship-based movie now as opposed to a time travel film,
Oh, I
even
see.
though
Yep.
it is a time travel film, but you don't really think to yourself that it's the same type of movie as like a Jules Verne, time travel film or Time
Hmm.
Bandits or something like that, because you're more remembering the characters and things and how they sort of got into this weird loop where his mother's flirting with him and without knowing who it is and that kind of thing. So you definitely saw the change in vibe. And yeah, maybe it was a little more sci-fi timeline interruption type of emphasis. That's my take.
Yeah. 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 And it sounds like it might have been a success, but I don't think it would have had the impact that it has now. Uh, Yeah.
Yeah, or the charm that
Hmm.
it has.
Yeah. And another note I had was about his guitar playing at the end with Johnny B. Good. He learned how to do the right key. He was very what do you call it? Attention to detail. He paid a lot of attention to detail. Musicians would be watching and seeing the fingers, hitting the right chords and everything. He wanted to make it as realistic as possible. It turns out the guitar he used was it a 57 and this took place at 55, so that was like a little bit off. Like that guitar hadn't
Yeah,
been
people complain
invented
about
yet.
the
Yeah, yeah. But his playing, he wanted to make sure he was doing it, so that's how dedicated he is. So
Yeah, he
that
did
impressed
seem
me.
very serious about making sure that that was authentic. Good for him. It's a great skill to have. But
And
yeah,
Brian,
I mean, I guess not everybody's really that concerned about how authentic they look in playing an instrument on screens.
Brian Adams approved.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else that I think I recovered all the notes that I
This
had. Let me get the
when we started this, it didn't hit me, but this is very similar to the Ralph Macchio book. it's not a
Mhm.
memoir or any sort of autobiography, but it's just a specific story of their one particular time in their career. And it was the Karate Kid for Ralph Macchio. There was really nothing else that was covered, and now we've got this. So I'm just curious if that's going to be a trend with other, because Michael J. Fox has written a couple of books
Mhm.
about his life. So and I'm sure he's mentioned this in the other books. I have not read them yet, but um, and this is just sort of that, going into detail about one aspect of their life. So I'm curious if other authors, celebrities from the 80s will do this.
I'm betting so because it seems to so far have been a successful
Yeah.
structure. And anything that makes money, they're going to do more.
Yeah,
Right.
And if there's an opportunity like an anniversary
hmm
for them to do something like this, I'm sure they will.
Well, if you're a fan of the franchise, or you're a fan of Family Ties, or even a fan of his, you're going to pick the book up. So
Right.
because it's going to be of interest to you, and it really was very well done.
Yes.
It was. I enjoyed this is probably the first audiobook that I've listened to all the way through. I've listened to maybe bits and pieces of other ones for kind of for research purposes, you
hmm
know. Um, but I really enjoyed hearing it in his voice, and I enjoyed the fact that some of the quotes were actually recorded with the other, production people and actresses and actors, and that was kind of neat because I mean that's about as authentic as you can get. You're not
It's
saying,
like he,
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
it's almost like he pulled it from actual interviews.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
want
no,
to
that
go
was
listen.
it sounded like it was, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was YouTube videos or footage that he had, but yeah, it was there were a couple of quotes of people that he was talking about that it sounded like they were on a panel almost at times. And that was their discussion during the panel. And he just pulled that quote straight from that and put it in the audiobook.
Could be, but then there's no doubt about if you hear Leah Thompson herself saying the quote, there's no doubt about what uh her emotional state was, when it came to this thing that she's describing it. She's saying it in her own words. So there's less doubt. That does add a certain authenticity. And that was fun. It was fun to hear them chiming in, even if it were, bits and pieces of something else. It was still them, it was still their expression and their emotion, their inflection, let's say, that you wouldn't,
Mhm.
you can read it, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah,
Have you
that's a nice
seen
touch.
have you seen him on the series Shrinking yet? That's what he's coming back for. That's the one with Harrison Ford.
Pretty well.
That's
Okay.
on
Oh,
Apple
I didn't know
TV.
that.
So, but yeah,
Huh.
yeah, I think they announced a couple of days ago that he is going to be on season 3 of that series. So he's almost
Nice.
65 years old. It's pretty amazing that he's, still acting, especially with everything that he's had to endure. So
Yeah, you could hear in his voice in the narration that he was struggling at points. And especially the at the end of this audiobook, they kind of pitched one of his others, which was called Lucky Man. So they
Mhm.
gave you maybe 3 minutes of the narration from the other book, and there was a very distinct difference in his vocal from that time to this time, which is really kind of sad. Uh, but yeah, I'm sure it is a struggle for him. But, he still kind of has that X factor working for him. So good for him. What platform is that on? That's the shrinking.
Apple TV.
Oh, I don't get
I
I
don't
don't
Yeah.
get
know.
that one. I
Yeah, I
haven't
don't have
heard about it.
that. Nah.
I
But
invest in limited platforms.
mhm. Did you guys watch The Good Wife, that series?
I
I
did
did
not.
not.
Because he was a regular guest spot on that, and he was hilarious. He was in it was like a courtroom type of series with Julianne Margulies. It's just
Mhm.
she was the good wife, but and she was a defender, I believe, if I remember right. And Michael J. Fox was always the antagonist going against her and stuff. And he was hilarious. He was so good. Even though they wrote his disease into the show too, so it fit. His acting was still on point. And there was one episode where he he didn't take his medicine on purpose to sway the jury his way. He was kind of like
Wow.
sneaky and underhanded, so he was shaking more than normal. So,
Wow.
so-
I had heard, I don't know, somebody was talking about him in an interview, and they had said that if he went to fundraise money, that he would not take his medication because then it would have a better effect on folks, the donors. And then he would, after the event was over, he'd go back right back on his medication.
oh, I wonder
So
if that's the I would he
yeah,
probably came
yeah,
up with that for the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
think about
funny.
it. I mean, it sounds like that's on the surface, it sounds like that's manipulative. But if you think about it, that's him being more honest.
Mhm.
Authentic,
This
yeah.
is really what the
Yeah.
disease does to people.
I thought
Wow.
that was genius. I hope he's not in any sort of pain, when he's not on the
When he's doing
medication.
it
But
right, yeah.
yeah, but still, I'm like, hey, he knows what he's doing, and if it works, and he's reaping the benefits of that, or his organization is.
Yeah. And as far as I know, he's still married. Tracy Pollan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah. Yeah, he just seems like a really good guy. So and yeah, and this book was really good. Yeah, and you're right, Del. I love this snapshot, and focusing in on these things. I wouldn't be mad if there were more of these types of things.
No,
Hey, you
I love the
guys.
behind the scenes stuff that
Mm,
you just, I mean, just as he
Absolutely.
was talking about some of the scenes in the movie, we just sit back and we watch this 5 minute, scene in Back to the Future, and then finding out that, days of planning and all of this went into it. You just don't think about that when you're enjoying the film, but it's neat to read about.
Right. Or all of the kind of ad-libbing and things that he
Yeah.
seems to add to the film. Like you were saying, we
mm,
off the bat got to hear about that very first scene that he did and made a decent amount of changes that people reacted really well to. And I had no idea. I had no
hmm
idea. Just had that much influence over what happened in the scene, and brought that. I mean, that's very special for them to be able to bring that much to the character and the role.
Yeah, just this incredible instinct. It's such a natural thing. It's amazing. And did you guys have anything else that we didn't bring up that you wanted to?
think we covered a
Uh,
lot.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Are we gonna do Ordinary People this month?
I'm up for it if you guys are.
All
If you feel serious, I guess we could think of something else, but
right.
I like serious and I kind of write serious. Not always that. Well,
I'm good with it. One of my goals for 2026 is to be happier. So if this brings me down, I'm not going to be real happy with you, Paul, because it's a depressing book. If this changes my mood,
well, it might more be the kind of thing where you have to appreciate the good things in your life when you see a
hmm
family in that level of crisis.
so okay. So the other goal is to have a different perspective about things. So thank you, Suzanne. That helps.
Okay.
There
So
you
that's
go.
that's how I will approach this book.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, so that should be good. I know the movie was incredible. I did a rewatch. I did a series called I think it was called Return of the 80s Movies. It's
Hmm.
I wrote about movies that I either hadn't seen before or hadn't seen in a while, and that was one of them. And it still sticks today, especially with the that's about and everything. It was probably like a kind of ahead of its time at that time. So, but they had one flew over the cuckoo's nest before that. But I feel like the book might be good, so we'll give it a shot. We've done worse. Let's see.
Maybe we'll save GARP for another day. Oh, geez.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I can't hear you again. Sorry.
Trouble hearing you.
Oh, I guess I gotta keep. That's good to know. I'll keep the microphone close to me.
Get closer,
So,
closer. It's gonna hide your face now.
yeah. So let's see. Dell, you want us? What time is it? Are you on the?
I'm not.
Is it
I'm
next week?
no.
Oh,
We're on
you got a
hiatus. We
week
come back.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, we come back next weekend. So I think next weekend I'm going to double check. We may maybe another week. But anyway, Saturday and Sunday it's the 80s at 8 on WEDM. You can download the app. You can find us on the Radio Deck app as well. But it's 4 hours of the 80s, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, just about every weekend.
Yeah.
except around the holidays.
Holidays. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Right.
it. It's such an incredible show. I love it. All right, Suzanne, so what do you got going on? How can people find you?
Well, I'm at SuzanneMattaboni.com, or I'm the author of Once in a Lifetime. It's a novel that takes place in the 1980s, revolves around a lot of uh, music and art and trends that were going on at the time, and yeah, young girls were kind of like navigating their the beginning of their adult lives, let's say. So you can find me also then at onceinalifetimenovel.com. And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm out there
Mhm.
talking away here and there. Um, Writers Conference season is coming up, so we'll have a few of those come
Yay.
for in Pennsylvania. There's a Philadelphia workshop in April, and
Oh,
Bethlehem workshop conference in March. So you can kind of see the schedule on my on either of those sites. So be
Have you
good.
started working on the next book?
Name. I have a collection of short stories that I'm talking to a couple of small publishers about, like independent publishers. It actually got on the short list for a global prize, and it was like the top five in the contest.
Nice.
Did not win the contest, but I mean that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that, and I'll keep you guys posted because it's some cool stuff.
oh, that's awesome. And I think I have a lot of new listeners and viewers. So if you want to go back, we actually covered Suzanne's book Once in a Lifetime on this show. So you go back and it's an incredible book too. So I highly recommend that, and you could check
Thanks.
out that episode. And ooh, and speaking of writing, do I have the other book? I don't know where, but oh yeah, here it is. Submitted my a story for a anthology series called Born to Risk. That's going to be coming out in August. So,
Oh, excellent!
yeah, eh,
Congrats!
thank
Yeah.
you. See that there's this, of course,
Yeah, it's
Born to
there you
Risk.
go. Okay.
So it's this series, but it's I'm going to be on Veterans Edition. The coming out with the Veterans Edition. I believe it's
Hmm.
coming out in August. So Emilio Roman is the one that's like putting all this together. Him and his wife Daniela, they putting the series out, so they're having the inaugural veterans thing. So I think there's going to be 30 stories in it. I'm going to be number 15, chapter
And
15 in that
that's
book.
Oh,
So
cool.
right in the middle.
cool. That's essays or that's fiction?
Essay. Yep, yep. So it's about
Excellent.
my particular story I chose was when I got shipped to the Gulf War, Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, because at the time I was stationed in Oakland Naval Hospital. I was like living it up in California. I was originally a cook when I started there, and I was working these crazy hours. And then my supervisor transferred to the food storeroom, and he loved my work ethic, so he brought me over, and it was I worked 7 to 3:30 Monday to Friday on that. So I was living up in California, and then the war came, and I and we had a hospital ship affiliated with our hospitals, the USNS Mercy. So we were all getting pulled on there. So we had a roll call, and they were telling us who was going, and my name got called. But there were other people that didn't get called that wanted to go, so they were looking for a replacement. People were asking me if they could take my spot, but I went anyway.
Mm.
So it's a little bit. And
Wow.
at the day that I found out I was getting shipped, my grandmother died. So I called home and to tell my mom that I was going to be leaving California, and then she had gotten a call that my grandmother in Colorado died, and that was my dad's mom, and he worked for the phone company, climbing on telephone poles at the time. And there was no cell phones back then, so he didn't even know yet. And she was home by herself with all, so she had to like carry all this.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's about that period. It was like 1,000 word limit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's really interesting. Wrote a bio for it. So there's a lot of interesting stories, even in this current version of Born to Risk. It's not, there are veterans in there, but it's not about military. It's a lot about risks that people took, taking risks on themselves, and yeah, and some great stories. So Yeah, I highly recommend that as well. So look forward to that this year. And I'm also working on my memoir, Journey of the Roadrunner. As part of my biography, I actually wrote that I'm author of Journey of the Roadrunner, so I better make sure I get that published. And I want to wish everybody a happy new year. We got some great things coming on GenX Journeys. We're going to be covering more movies and music, a lot of personal development stuff. And gonna, if we're healthy enough, I'll be doing these every month. These GenX book clubs. So, so I really appreciate everybody listening, and yeah, thank you guys for coming on again. And we'll see you all next month. Thank you very much.
Thanks.